7:01 on the East Coast of the United States of America. I'm Dave Glovin. Tuesday, Boogie with the Bull. Tuesday Night Live is live. And I want to thank the people at Samsung for building a Chromebook with a keyboard that can hold up to me hitting it as hard as I can with my fist because I was upset and I couldn't type things that I needed to type on the broadcast. Jerry Michaels will be slightly late. That's okay, Jerry. Take your time. Anybody else? We are live on the Dave Glovin profile over here on Facebook. Matter of fact, if you give me a second, we will get ourselves tuned in over there. Oh, wait a minute. Don't need any echo there. And give me a minute. Can't do it very hard. There it is. You can just barely tap it so that you can see comments in the live chat. Callan McMillan is in the house. Good evening, sir. Always a pleasure to have you here. And hello from Pennsylvania. Let's see. Melinda Brown 40 is here. And Melinda, I saw it in the United Media Group Uncensored group chat. You asked where you watch. This is where you watch. You just go to my profile and you look for the post that says we are live, and you jump into the live chat here. And then you said you don't have friends. Well, none of us really have friends on Facebook anyway. I mean, and I don't want that to sound negative. I mean, a lot of us do have friends, people that we've known on Facebook for a very long time, and they are friends and they become family. But, you know, when it comes to being thankful for your family this year, I hope you're as thankful as you are for yours as I am for mine, because things happen in the course of your life, and it's not you being able to take the best care of yourself, and you gotta have to depend on other people. And you know, you think to yourself it's okay, because if the shoe was on the other foot and it was a relative of yours, you would do the same thing, and I would. But it gets tough sometimes, but it's that thankful time of year, so be thankful that you have a family that loves you and is willing to acknowledge you, and still be behind most of the things you try to keep doing each day. And Don Smithers, our technology friend, good evening to you, sir. Don has been talking with me behind the scenes and suggesting Windows as the replacement for the Chromebook, which is in front of my face. The only reason I keep it around is because it's got the best camera of anything that I have. And the Windows 10 tabletop, the RCA with the docking station keyboard, unfortunately, they put the camera in the top center, and you can't stand it in the docking station to get the camera in the right position. So if we keep it, there's a very good chance that we will, and we use that for the broadcast, we'll end up buying a webcam, clip-on webcam. I thought I had one when we were packing up the house, moving from Connecticut to Florida, but a lot of things just ended up in the trash. But they're not expensive. If I really want to use the Windows 10 tablet, then I will. It's kind of one of those things where, you know, I keep on using the technology that I have to do a lot of things in life until it is absolutely either dead and it just doesn't work anymore, won't charge anymore, or its technology is old and not being used anymore. There's one more I want to slide up and say, good evening, William Rayfield. You are welcome to join in if you want. Wait a minute. That's not how I wanted to do it. That's how I wanted to do it. Hold on. Let me take this and we put that on the screen. That's tonight's link, StreamYard.com/DSGJVY2X4J. StreamYard.com/DSGJVY2X4J. Jerry Michaels will be here momentarily. He said he was going to be late. And Ray, if you want to grab the link, you're welcome to come on. Kind of a low key, no one's going to get mad, no one's going to yell and scream at everybody broadcast today. Just what are you thankful for in 2023? And what are you looking forward to be thankful for in 2024? Larry Burns is in the house. Larry comes from Canada. So when Larry is on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast, we are truly international. We are on across the border into Canada and beyond. So everyone is saying hi to everyone in the live chat. Please keep doing that, and we'll flash them on from time to time. But make a comment in the live chat. What are you thankful for this year? What do you have to be thankful for? And if you have something that you're not sure you need to be thankful for, well, then share it, and everybody will tell you whether or not you need to be thankful for it. It's a bad time of year that friends of mine on Facebook that are landlords are ending up tossing out people because it's just time for them to toss them out. And I'm sure they're not thankful for that. And Jerry Michaels has some knowledge on that. He managed property before. And, I know it's not a thankful deed when you have to evict someone and then go through the expense of evicting them, then go through the expense of making improvements to the property that they destroyed, because no one rents property to anyone hoping that they're going to destroy it. And other than that, Jerry, what are you thankful for this year?
Well, I guess my family. That's about it. I've not had a good year. But we will all gather tomorrow and Thursday and see what happens.
We will too, and others will as well. And our daughter-in-law's mother is here for Thanksgiving, which is very nice. And we're glad to see her. And William says that wait a minute, we're going too fast. William Grant says he's thankful for his family and his friends and his health. See that and agree with you. Wish you and your family the best. We'll drop down to Callum McMillan for a second. He's thankful that Joe Biden won't be president of the United States in 2025. I think a lot of us are thankful for that. William Rayfield says he's thankful for his family. Thankful my family being in good health. Yep. That health is health. Your health, your family's health is where it all begins. And I think that pretty much covers it. I'm sorry I cut you off, Jerry, but what else are you thankful for?
I've not really had a great year, Dave. I really haven't. Right now, my attitude is not good about any of it.
Yeah.
And hasn't been for some time. I just, I don't know. I'm tired of the same crap day in and day out. I'll be truthful.
Yep.
I'm just tired. So hopefully we get through the holidays. This is Thanksgiving, and then the rest of the year I don't really care about. We don't celebrate Christmas really. We don't exchange gifts, and New Year's I've never cared about, even when I was young. And drinking, I always thought New Year's was for amateurs, so I didn't really celebrate that. looking forward to a better year next year, I guess. Hopefully.
Wait a minute. There it is. That's the one I wanted to get. Alan McMillan is asking how Michelle is doing, Jerry.
About the same.
Yeah.
She's going to spend Thanksgiving in bed. I'm going to have to fight with her to do it. So it's going to be fun.
All right, let's see. Moving along. Hey, Billy Harding, one of my longtime cat buddy friends, now up in Leominster, Massachusetts. Billy's watching. Glad that you are watching, Billy. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, Billy. I hope you have a great year. And let's see. Belinda adds that the January 6th tapes are being released.
For all the good it'll do.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't really know what good it's going to do. I mean, the Democrats had the House, and they BS'd us through a select committee where it was Democrats and rhinos, and blamed it all on Trump. And the more and more and more I hear on the news every day or watch every day on respectable news sources, they know it's all on them.
I don't know if there's such a thing as a respectable news source anymore. Some of the stuff I see. I just, I know what I see with my eyes, and I don't see a lot of good. I always talk about the Walmart in town where I live. I've been living here 11, 12, 13 years, something like that. For the first, I'd say 8, 9 years, you'd go in there, the people working there were relatively friendly. You asked where something was, most time they would take you right to it, which was always they didn't have to, they could have just told me, but that's a nice gesture.
Stop it.
I walk into the pharmacy today. There's a girl with 3 color hair. One is brown, which I'm assuming is her own. One was blue and one was pink, with fish hooks in her face. This girl put off an attitude like this was the last place in the world she wanted to be, and the last person in the world she wanted to see was me. I was the only one there at that moment. And then I go over I had to buy some dog food for to make dog food, some stuff to make dog food with, obviously the dogs. And I usually buy like chicken livers or hearts or something like that. Girls loading up the case there. I'm trying to reach around her little cart that she has her boxes on. She's just singing along with earbuds in, looking at me out of the corner of her eye. And it got real obvious that she was, didn't, you had to be there. But it was pretty obvious to me she didn't like white people. Then I'm trying to get down an aisle. 2 other people are trying to get down an aisle, and these people are just standing there oblivious to like they're the only ones on the planet. And I'm like, where in the hell are we living anymore? I don't know. It's not right. None of it is right. I'm not a big shopper or any of that. I prefer to actually buy everything online and avoid all human contact at any everybody knows me knows that. But when I do go, I'm try to be polite and pay attention where I'm at and not be in people's way if I can help it. And, all that stuff that normal people do. There ain't a lot of normal people left. Everybody's out for themselves, and this has to stop. I understand people have a bad day, but the hatred, the people thinking they're more important than they are, all this stuff, it has to stop. Otherwise, we are going to lose this country. Okay, we're so busy fighting with each other and trying to, I don't know, get the upper hand all the time. I guess something like that. I wonder if she said I don't like white people. Really? No, it's pretty obvious, William. And I'm not going to argue with you. Okay. Um, I don't know. That's all. If he comes on and starts with me, Dave, I'm just going to go. All right. Just so you know. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I'm thankful
That's
that I
all
have
right.
not. Sometimes I'm thankful I have not remembered how to turn my microphone back on when I mute myself if the dogs are barking. And Don Smithers put in, this is depressing. Can we get back on track? I think we can, Don, but for lack of not putting it this way before, I think we as Republicans or conservative patriots, which I call us, which is just mean to avoid saying the word Republican, I think we're just like everybody else. I think most of us have our heads so far up our asses on how it used to be that we're not doing enough to change it. Matter of fact, I kicked myself out of a group chat that I'm in today only because somebody posted in there that they were glad that Bed Bath & Beyond is no longer selling My Pillow. And my comment was that take Mike Lindell, a man who had a great company, has a great company, took all his profit that he made and tried to help correct the country. And, while most of us Republicans don't put any money in, don't make any effort. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
No, that's all right. People, first of all, I don't think Bed Bath & Beyond is really selling anything anymore. Aren't they out of business or going out of business?
Well, I know they
I
closed
had heard
5
that.
stores. They closed 5 stores in the Jacksonville area, and one of them was by us.
Okay. Yeah, people like that. You know what? The problem is that there's a lot of small-minded people out there who can't get past prejudices or can't get past, somebody liking something they don't, or kind of silly stuff we're supposed to outgrow by the 3rd grade. um, and these people are adults. I have found for the last many years that on social media, if I don't like something, I literally I don't really say anything. I just go. And in the end, nobody cares that I'm gone. And I don't have to listen to the crap anymore. And, it helps to keep sanity, I guess. I don't know. I don't think anybody is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I think most of us do try to, be decent.
Yep.
I have nothing against Mike Lindell. I think he's being screwed just like Trump. Keep suing him and his company and, all this. I don't know. I heard he wasn't doing that well, company wise. I don't know. It's just something I heard in 2 or 3 places from people who may or may not have had direct knowledge. So I really don't know.
The last thing I heard
Melinda
was that he was hit with a $50 million lawsuit that supposedly was the value of My Pillow. Currently, it's worth about $50 million, but I don't know.
That's all? Really?
Well, supposedly,
I would have thought that had been more.
maybe it might be his profit off of the company, but it was something like
maybe
people were going after him to ruin him and force him into bankruptcy, and I think they're suing him for something like $50 million, hoping that he'll just go away, and I hope he doesn't.
Well, I think at this point, if like you take his big thing was the election, right?
Yep.
And the fact that it was stolen and cheated and whatever else you want to say about it. I think if at this point you don't realize that election was stolen, there is no point in talking to these people because it's like the same ones that say Trump is a racist, Trump, all the stuff they've been saying since he came down the escalator. If they're still saying that, I'm thinking it's time to start leaving them people behind and we start finding people that not only can we agree, but we can disagree, have a conversation about it, hopefully, and come to some kind of consensus on how we're supposed to, go about fixing this country. And it's unfortunate that we can't do that. I've been advocating for that for a long, long, long time, long before Trump, back in Obama. And, the people that are still saying stuff like that, I think it's time we start leaving them behind and just, I think people like us, I know Alan and everything, we need to start speaking up and putting out our own ideas, hopefully on video where you put your words with your face and just use our First Amendment rights. I guess for as long as they let you, and then you have to find someplace else to do it. But,
Well, yeah, I mean, that's my thing with it on Facebook. I'm going to be on Facebook until the one day they actually ban me for life. And when they ban me for life, I won't be back. I won't have a drawer. I won't have a binder full of Facebook accounts. I just don't have any interest for it. And speaking of finding other places to play, let me switch over here and do this. Join Jerry Michaels on the American Rebellion on Rumble, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern till whenever they end. Sometimes it's 9 o'clock, 9:30. Sometimes I come back on at 10:30 at night and they're still going. So,
yeah. That's a lot of talking. I'm telling you right now, that's a lot.
It's a lot of talking, but go over there, like I said. If you put this link in on the screen, rumble.com/amreb/live, it will take you right to the broadcast. You can, I don't know if you can see the live chat. Yeah. I don't know if you can see the live chat, but you can watch the broadcast. If you're not a Rumble member, it doesn't cost anything to join Rumble. It takes 30 seconds to join Rumble, just like you join Facebook. And go over there and watch it.
And also, if you would like to come on with us on screen, more than likely we'll have no problem bringing you on. Just got to let us know.
Yep.
Let me I didn't bring my mic down. Melinda says school teachers are like demon craps. Yeah, that's where it all starts. I always tell this story. When I was in, I think it's middle school, right? They went from civics, which I was currently living, and then you had to also take social studies. And then pretty soon you didn't have to take civics anymore, just social studies. And this is, they frame it in such a way to parents who don't bother to read the curriculum and read exactly what they're teaching. This is about learning about other cultures and blah, 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 blah. They did the same thing back in the 70s. I'm sure there's got to be somebody else on here that remembers that. Possibly, like, I know probably Alan does. I don't know. But, and then they start now what they're, I figured this out years ago, but when you have to buy all these pencils and pens and school supplies and all this stuff, and you spend all this money on it, and then your kid, you're thinking you're going to keep it in a closet somewhere and give the kid a pencil every week or every other day or whatever. No, you got to bring all that in for everybody to use. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is socialism and communism in a nutshell right there. These kids are learning this stuff and they don't even know it. Back when I was in elementary school, you learned how to share because that's like a world thing. I mean, people should share when they are able to, I think. If you're not able to, that's another thing. But, everybody can share once in a while. And that's something that every child should learn. But then when you're learning that, and the kids aren't learning who's paying for this stuff, they're only learning that their stuff is everybody else's stuff. And they don't care because they're young. But I went out with 3 kids in my first marriage, and the school supplies were $150, $200 for 3 kids, little kids. Like elementary school and first year of middle school. And I was pissed. And then, you got to bring in toilet paper and you got to bring in paper towels for the whole class. Everybody has to do it because we don't want little Johnny who can't afford it to feel bad. Well, I don't want little Johnny to feel bad because that's,
Right.
that would make me kind of an ass. And there was actually a kid I can think of right now that he didn't have much and his mother was useless and she had a string of boyfriends. So I would have went and bought his stuff for him. Okay. Because that's who I am. Who wants to see a little kid, not have what he needs? Nobody. Okay. But this is what we're teaching these kids. And that's where and both like communism and socialism and Marxism and all this, that's the playbook. You start with the children. Hitler did it. You start with the children. All this crap with inclusion and everybody can be whatever they want, no matter what. That's where it starts in the schools. And that's why we have so many kids who are coming out to the world as gay or transgender. And now we're starting to see, after all the few years it's been going on, we're starting to see these people realize they ain't. And when you're gay, you want to be gay, you can always go back to being straight, and really, other than your head might be screwed up, I mean, everything works. When you're transgender, and there's a doctor I just read about, he's doing surgery on a 7-year-old.
No, I
And that
don't
man needs to be
understand.
taken out into the street and shot in the back of the head.
I
There
don't
should be no
understand.
bail
Yeah.
time, none of that. Just freaking kill him.
I don't understand when the government decided it was okay for them to be the parents, and the parents were domestic terrorists because they weren't doing what the government wanted. And, I mean, I understand that everybody can't afford school supplies. And, but, a portion of our taxes that our parents paid to the school board was supposed to be used to buy the supplies that we needed in school. So if you tell me now, you give me a list of 150 items and I have to send in 3 of each one with my child, then I'm going to deduct that from my school my school board taxes.
Well,
You know,
I think, and I've known a few teachers in my lifetime, outside of school. And what they told me was what they used, they were the ones that had to buy the school supplies for the classroom because the school wouldn't do it anymore. Now, obviously, this is in my lifetime, so this wasn't like the 50s or even as really, well, I was in school in the late 60s, but it was like elementary school. I barely remember it, but um, yeah. And now all of a sudden, they just threw not only school taxes that I pay and Dave pays. I guess you could say Dave at least has grandkids going to school. I don't have anybody going to school and I'm paying school taxes. Okay. I think when you're done and your kids are done in school, you shouldn't have to pay school tax anymore. I think only the parents of kids should pay the school taxes. Just like, you know, property taxes. Once your house is paid off, property taxes should be done.
yeah,
Shouldn't be anymore.
absolutely.
Okay. That kind of thing. But that's not how it works. They just shift the weight of the financial part of it onto the actual people who are already paying for it
Right.
and make it more, I believe, and I always have in school uniforms, I had a problem going out and buying the kids clothes, whatever the colors and whatever they were supposed to have for school uniform. I come from South Florida, and there were kids every year getting either beat up or killed over tennis shoes and socks, and you name it. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah. So, and
Well,
I'm sure it happened in every state. It's just
maybe
that's
there
where I
needs to
saw it.
be some kind of a dress code that says if your kid is wearing $400 sneakers, they shouldn't be wearing them to school.
I agree.
And I know it's wrong, because the kind of capitalist I was that if I was making the money to put my kid in the $400 shoes that they wanted, that's what they got, and they should be able to wear them and wear them proud. But unfortunately, the kids who do that end up getting the snot beat out of them, get their $400
or
stolen, and then
first of all, no child should own a pair of $400 Air Jordans or whatever they are these days. I don't even know.
Right.
Okay. Any more than any kid should own a cell phone he cannot afford to pay for. And schools should outlaw cell phones. Okay. More problems start with cell phones in school. I just read an article the other day we brought up on our show. The boys were using this AI thing to take pictures of girls and then have the AI thing remove their clothing and give a general idea what the girl looked like underneath her clothing. And they're passing these pictures around. And that thoroughly disgusts me and any normal, either parent or just, regular, anybody that should discuss people. And these kids, they're 15, 16 years old.
Yep. And
I get that they know about sex and all that, but then you turn around and 12-year-olds are getting pregnant. I saw a video today. It was a short video on YouTube, and this lady was in tears. She was a teacher saying 5-year-olds are twerking. As a society, we are crumbling, and as a society, we need to fix it. And it's going to start inside the four walls of everyone's home. And even people that think that they're doing good could probably change a few things here and there, and kind of adjust things, more of an adjustment, to make things better. I have a code that I live by. I do not lie, cheat, or steal. That doesn't make me special. That makes me somebody trying to be good instead of evil. because we're way past good versus bad. We are with good versus evil at this point. And it is I gotta tell you, I've just kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things in the last 6 months, and it is, to say the least, concerning. I see Michael Anthony is here. Hello, Michael. I watch videos of kids pointing guns at cameras and singing rap music that I find disgusting coming from adults. No redeeming value in it, nothing. And they call it culture, and that's fine. If that's what you want, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it, so I don't bother with it. But when you're teaching a 5-year-old this stuff, that is not good. I don't give a damn what color you are. I don't give a damn where you're from. If your 5-year-old is doing this stuff, it is bad, and it needs to stop. Okay. When I was growing up, a young kid, say like 10 years old, we would go places with my parents, and people would constantly compliment my parents on how well behaved me and my brother were. And there's a reason for that. And a lot of people find it repulsive today, but if you weren't well behaved, okay, you got your ass kicked. Plain and simple. Okay. Your dad gave you one warning. We all call it the look. And a lot of moms had it too. I mean, you knew when she was getting annoyed. Moms were more verbal, though, I think they are today. But dad, when he gave you that look, you stopped, or bad things were about to happen, and not outside in the parking lot, not at home, right there in the middle of the store in front of everybody. And nobody batted an eye. Matter of people, I can remember when I was a little kid, I get whacked in the head or something, and people around me were like laughing because they remember that from their parents, and that's how you learn. Jerry, I didn't know you had a brother. Yeah, I don't have any idea if he's alive or dead, to be truthful. I am pretty sure he's probably dead, but I don't know. Anyway, and I bet Dave can probably tell his stories from when everybody here. We have to, we got to do better. Every one of us, and I'm not like trying to be perfect. And me too. We all have to be better at taking care of each other. Families first, obviously, and then whatever you can do for your friends and as normal people do. Okay, but we have to start sticking together because even on our side, if you want to call it that, which we shouldn't be calling it that, because we're all Americans. Even them idiots in the street, they're Americans. It's sad, I'll give you that, but that's what they are. But unfortunately, this is our side. And we need to stop arguing with each other and crying and complaining we're not in charge and this one's doing that and that one's doing this. And we need to start figuring some stuff out, and I mean quick.
Yep.
That's just my opinion. Other people have different opinions. Because if we go to war in this country, we're probably all going to die. Everybody here on this show tonight, including the people in the comments. Because, lots of people are going to die. So that's very true, Melinda. United we stand. It's an old war tactic, divide and conquer. And this government, who is our actual enemy. I mean, we have enemies outside this country, but our main enemy is the United States government, because the United States government is who had created all the enemies outside this country. Okay. And they have divided and they have conquered some of us. Some Americans will believe everything they hear on CNN and so on and so forth. I am not one of them. I know the people. I'm looking at these comments. None of you guys are. Dave ain't. We are just, I don't know. We got kids out there praising, as Angie said, we got people out there praising terrorists. I don't care why terrorists are mad. I read some of that letter to America. I don't care why they're mad. I don't. I watched the guy jump out of the World Trade Center. That's all I need to know. I hate these people with the red hot passion of a billion suns. Okay? And it grows every day.
I don't think any of us grew up thinking someday we would have to watch a terrorist war on American soil. And like Jerry said, and has said it before, watch on live news as people are jumping out of 100+ floors of buildings because there was no way to get out.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
That's one of those things. Our whole government should have been. You'll never hear me say this again. Our whole government, all the departments, all the people, either should have been terminated. The House, Senate, President,
I agree.
I don't understand America anymore. I
And if
really
you think
don't.
about it, whatever your opinion of 9/11 was, whether it was an inside job or not, I know I have questions, a lot of them.
I
It
have
seems like every time
questions
I get an
that it
explanation, I have
was
more. But I got to tell you, in the end, okay, terrorists took over aircraft and flew into that building, flew into possibly the Pentagon. I don't know. I've seen the videos. I don't know, have enough information of where the videos actually came from, the first person to post it. So I'm not going to believe that. But, and they did this. And although there's a lot of theories on how the buildings actually came down, that day we lost a lot of life.
well,
A lot of average Americans and, whatever, all different walks of life, every color, every, the whole rainbow of shit, and they're all dead.
the
And you know what
guy,
equalizes everybody and is inclusive and everything else, and that's death. Because
yeah,
once you're dead, nobody cares what you are anymore. Nobody.
the
Okay. And
guy
I would
who
prefer to be
owned
alive and nobody care about me.
the
Go ahead.
guy
I'm
who
sorry, Dave.
owned the 3 buildings. If it's one guy, because I only heard that in all of my digging, it only appears that the guy who owned building 7, and he made the guy who owned building 7, and he may be the guy who owned all 3 buildings. Days before, he doubled his insurance on all the buildings. He had to have a reason for doing that. He had to have gotten some information.
Yeah.
Whether it was a credible source from the
I agree.
FBI and everybody else who evidently had offices in Building 7. I just don't want to believe that
Me neither.
our government ever declared war on us.
You said it, Dave.
That's
why I held out for so long. But the questions, and they're very simple questions, but it seems like every time you get an answer, there's more. And it's like a web kind of deal, and I don't know. I don't remember JFK. I was born in 63, so as a baby. But I've seen that's another one. I believe he was murdered I believe the United States government was involved in his murder. I believe there were outside sources also. And why? Because when I watch a documentary, I don't want to hear from the generals. I want to hear from the privates and the sergeants. Okay. So when I watch those videos videos. I want to hear from the people that were just standing there watching the president go by with their old 8mm cameras and whatever. And there's too many of them that say the same thing.
Yeah.
And many of them were never interviewed by the was it the Warren Commission? Is that what it was? The Warren Commission day?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
But Judge Napolitano either does a podcast or he was a guest on one, and he was asked. Supposedly, Donald Trump had said he was going to release the Warren Commission reports. And I guess shortly after he had been elected, he read them, and he said that Judge Napolitano said that Trump told him right after he read them, there are just things in there that no American needs to read, to understand, or to even
and Trump's
look
wrong. And Trump's wrong. Trump's dead wrong.
I believe that we all have a right to read it, and maybe we should. But I even have to walk away from, even if I ever did sit down and read it, is this the truth anyway? I mean, I'm 61 years old. We've been talking about this for 61 years.
Yeah.
Warren's dead. He's not on the Supreme Court anymore. He's not gonna. He's not gonna come down and tell us. Most of the people that were on the Warren Commission were probably either retired from Congress or dead.
I would imagine they're dead. Yeah.
And
I would think most. And Johnson's dead. Listen, Dave. Trump is wrong. Okay, Trump
the Bush
is wrong.
family is never going to talk. And fortunately, George Herbert Walker Bush is dead, and he's not going to talk. But when do we get the truth?
Well, if it's up to them, you and me will never hear the truth, because I think it was like 75 years or something after the fact they were going to release everything. This was 63, so we're not there yet. But we may be very old. I don't know. I'm 60. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Trump was wrong. The country does need to know this. I keep hearing politicians talk about, sunshine and clarity, and we need to know exactly what's happening and hear all the word, and this would be a great way to start. Although the crime is very old, I believe that the United States government, probably Johnson, because I don't think Johnson and Kennedy particularly liked each other, and also the mafia, seems like they were involved, possibly Russia. I don't know. What I do know is that the United States government was involved in this some damn how, and we need to find out what the some damn how is. Now, I think the actual finished Warren report is going to tell you that? I seriously doubt it.
Was Johnson involved? That's a question that I've had all these years. Not even reading the report, just seeing what you can see. But was Johnson involved? Did the Democrats want Kennedy out so bad and Johnson in so bad? I mean,
well, first of all, Kennedy wanted to get us off the dollar and onto the gold or silver or something. Probably gold. I can't.
Gold standard,
I'm sorry. I got hit in the head a lot. I forget stuff.
No, you're okay.
But one of those. And they did not want. Obviously, nobody wanted that. And Johnson, my general opinion of Johnson is that he was. I believe he was involved somehow. I believe he was involved. I don't think he was the one to say pull the trigger, but I do believe he knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And they needed a scapegoat, which was Lee Harvey Oswald. And, he was surrounded by cops. He is now, when it happened, by the time he got into that parking garage, he was the most well-known man in the country, probably the world. Because let's face it, back then Kennedy had a lot of love going for him. A lot of the country loved Kennedy. He was the last of the old-time Democrats that actually gave a damn about the country. That kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying he was perfect. I'm just saying, okay. And they let what's his name, that nightclub owner guy, walk in and shoot him in the stomach. And in my opinion, it was to shut him up. Because Oswald was coming through that garage, talking to the press, saying, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it." And what bothers me most about a lot of things, like take the Ukraine, why do I trust Putin more than I trust Biden? That's kind of sad, okay? But why do I trust Lee Harvey Oswald and more than the United States government? That is equally sad. So, Jack Ruby, right, Alan? Jack Ruby,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, Jack Ruby had stomach cancer. He was dying anyway. The story that I heard was, and this was I was young, that the mafia told him, "Go kill him. We'll take care of your family." Blah blah, because he died relatively shortly after that happened. And he was, if he wasn't in the mob, he was very much in cahoots with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't
And
he some
the
kind
mob
of
was afraid.
officer?
The mob didn't like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. The mob didn't like the Kennedys because Robert Kennedy kept going after him. And this was back when the mob was the mob, back in the 60s. Not like today, where it's not really a joke, but it kind of is. So nobody liked the Kennedys, including the United States government and the House, the Senate, and there was a lot of people. I don't remember their names, but senators, all this, and here we are.
Yeah.
Now they're running a scam in the Ukraine, where all our money is going. We actually have people, including the president of the United States, who's hedging on whether he should support or, condemn terrorists who kill babies, like, that are 3 months old, and because Hamas, that's what the Hamas did. They kill babies, raped and murdered women, small girls, shot men. Just if you were walking along or running, they just shot you down. And then calling their families and celebrating over the phone. And people wonder why I have such great hatred for these people. Because this is not a religion. This is a political joke, is what this is. Okay.
Callan's asking if wasn't it Johnson who was in the car with Kennedy? I don't think it was Johnson.
No,
It was the governor of Texas at the time.
Yeah.
I got to pull a Dave
He got shot.
Moment. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But
no, Johnson wasn't in the car. They had Johnson got sworn in on Air Force Two.
Yeah.
Actually, he was somewhere else. The governor of Texas is the one who got shot first, because Kennedy was sitting right behind him, and then they got Kennedy in the head. Now, if you look at that weapon that he was using, it's not a bad weapon, but he was not that great a shot, and he was a long, long way away, firing at what looked like to him. I mean, we've all fired guns, okay, and we look at a target, say 500. The bullseye looks like it's that big, okay. That would be the size of Kennedy's head from his standpoint.
Yeah,
and that's a hell of a shot. And then when you see the puff of smoke, and you hear about not one but two guys that took off over like a stone wall or something and hauled ass. There was another story where a guy working on the railroad, which was not very far from there, saw some guy changing his clothes right there on the tracks and walking away. He had a workman's toolbox and walking away. Who was in the car then? Jackie, JFK, and the governor of Texas, and whoever was driving.
Yeah.
I would assume that'd be Secret Service. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it's got to be Secret Service, right? That's
Yeah.
who drives the president.
Yeah.
I think. Even then. Yeah. So I don't know. And it was a sad day for the country, not because everybody loved Kennedy, every single human being in America loved Kennedy, but because somebody took our president. I would be just as pissed if somebody assassinated Joe Biden. He's a vegetable, but he's our vegetable. And you
Right.
don't do that. Period.
Right.
Period. And I can't stand. I have absolutely no use for Joe Biden. I would pitch in to buy the shovel to dig the hole for Joe Biden. Okay? But you don't do this.
Right.
How many other conspiracies and stuff that were hatched inside the White House, inside, you know, the Pentagon, inside the CIA headquarters, inside the House, the Senate, the IRS, probably. I don't know. How many more things happen? How many more people has this government actually murdered to get them out of the way? I mean, if you look at Hillary Clinton and Bill, I'm sorry, I don't, I wasn't there for any of these people who got killed, but I have to tell you, they have a lot of people attached to them that have been committed suicide with 2 bullets in the back of the head with a gun that they don't own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that seems odd.
Or found shot with found shot with their own gun, like Vince Foster, who was one of her lawyers, I think, Hillary's lawyers. But
oh yeah, Whitewater. Yeah,
and they I want to understand they are a very political couple, but who is the brains? Because sometimes
Hillary.
I think Bill Clinton plays stupid.
I believe it's Hillary.
Yeah,
I believe it's Hillary all the way. I think she pushed him into the governor's mansion. I think she pushed him into the White House. She covered up all his, what do they call them when you rape somebody in a hotel room? Oh, yeah, indiscretions.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. If nothing else, Chelsea Hubble, Hillary's daughter and not Bill's.
I've never heard anyone say Chelsea Hubble. I've always heard them say that Webb is definitely her dad, but I've never heard anyone say Chelsea Hubble.
Well, I'm sorry. Get a picture of Webb or Whip, whatever his name was, and put Chelsea right next to him and see what you think. Okay, don't take my word for it. Just go do that.
No.
Because old Chelsea's ugly as sin. Don't look like her father, even in his younger days. Does not look like her mother. She looks like Hubble. So Seth Rich's murder has never been solved. Oh yeah, where he got robbed, but nothing was taken. Yeah, and left on a city street to die. Yeah. That was interesting. And he had, I don't remember what he had, but he had something on the Clintons. I don't remember it now. Maybe Alan does, but and he was about to release it and never got to. So it's funny. You watch movies, from Hollywood, and a lot of this stuff is in movies before, and then you look at some of these things that are happening, and it's amazing how close they are.
Yep.
How is that? That seems weird to me. And it's not just, one or another once in a while. It's a lot. It's a
Well,
lot.
I've said before that I think they wrote a playbook a long time ago with plays in it, and they don't create new things. They just take the page out of the playbook, change it slightly, and use it again.
Yeah.
Sort of like, they told us when they were going to do something.
Yeah,
They told us what they were going to do, how they were going to do it, and when they were going to do it. And then the next time they needed
it seems like they just modernize it or whatever.
They recycle that play.
Yep. And that's what Melinda says here. You normalize the horrors. Look at all the crap going on. We got kids of every color beating up old people. Stealing their car, killing them, dragging them, all this bullshit. Okay, and we're desensitized to it. And part of that, whether anybody wants to hear about it, is television, movies, video games. I mean, look. I'm from I grew up in the 70s. Okay, the most violent video game was Pong.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, or maybe Pac-Man, because Pac-Man actually ate yellow dots. So maybe that was more violent. I don't know. Okay, but look at it now, and the realism in the video games, and for years we watched, say, I don't know, Leave It to Beaver or something. Okay, and now we're watching naked women on TV. Okay, and the movies is even back when movies first started in the teens, in the 20s and the 30s. They weren't necessarily. I've never seen one on TCM that had an actual naked person on it, but they were very risque for their time. And then they brought in the censorship people. And that all changed for a long, long time, where like Ricky and Lucy slept in separate beds in the same room because they weren't allowed to be seen in the same bed, kind of thing. All right. And and kids, then like in the 80s, they had that Zip Code show where it was not much sex and drama and all the rest of that.
90210, Beverly Hills, your favorite.
Yeah, I watched one full show of that and almost blew a gasket, and I think I was 28 or 29. I almost blew. I was watching it with like an 8-year-old who watched this every week, and the storyline went like, this chick killed this guy, or thought she did, but because it's a soap opera, he came back to life, and instead of like turning her into the cops, he had sex with her outside on the hood of his car in a driveway. And I'm looking at the kid next to me. She's got her eyes glued to the screen. And I'm like, and then, the other one I love, Beavis and Butthead. The one I watched one of them, same kid. And they actually wanted to set somebody's house on fire and thought that was a good idea. And this 8-year-old kid, that's what they're watching. Now, when I was growing up, I watched the Roadrunner beat the hell out of the coyote with his own anvil. Okay, and our parents actually taught us and told us, don't do this to your brother because you'll kill him. No, don't jump off the mountain with an anvil. It's not going to work out good for you. Okay. Right. But nobody was teaching this kid that this stuff right here is dead wrong. Okay. And then, of course, the movies have just gotten worse and worse. Back in the 50s, if the cowboy got shot, you didn't see blood. He would just, basically fall down.
Yep.
And whatever. I don't know. I watched a lot. I still do. But now you got blood splurting everywhere and blood spray, and these kids think that's cool. And then you got one that's like not mentally right in the first place, and he's watching this crap, and he starts collecting, samurai swords and freaking AR-15s and pistols and everything else, and goes to school because everybody makes fun of him, and probably rightfully so. He's probably a creepy guy, okay, and starts shooting everybody. And we want, and by the way, they're all on some kind of mood-altering drug. to keep them stable, which apparently does not always work with people who have mental problems. Or we have kids that have decided at 13 years old they're now a boy when they're a girl,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you have to listen to every word, and you have to make sure that you gender them correctly and all this other bullshit. It's like, yeah, you can play your little fantasy. I'm not going to be involved with all that, but and no discipline, not in the house, not in the school. In the 70s, we stayed home. Your parents were gone. You stayed your ass in the house. You didn't go anywhere. You didn't do anything
You
because
didn't
we
even
had the
open the
threat of
door.
death.
Yeah, you didn't even
Yeah,
open the
we
door.
had exactly. We had the
Um,
threat of death if we did
yeah.
anything
You
like
didn't
that
open the
from
door. You
mom
didn't
and
answer
dad.
the phone. And
Nope.
if you did
And
answer the
that's
phone,
because
you didn't say
they
mom was
didn't
in the
want
shower.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want somebody calling or knocking and find out you're the only one at home because they could hurt you, or more importantly, steal your dad's TV, which would have been worse for him.
Yeah.
You know, and it sounds funny, but it's actually kind of true.
No,
And
I
in
know.
the '80s, it was more of the same, except that the kids were allowed outside while mom and dad weren't home. And when kids get outside together, they all come up with brilliant plans that are exceedingly stupid, and they do them, and they get in trouble for it. Okay, but they learn a lesson from it also.
Right.
And in the '90s, that went away. In the
Yeah.
'90s, we had signs in the street, kids at play. And in the '70s, all we had was that stupid baby on board thing in the back window that nobody cared about and everybody made fun of if you had one. Okay. Because we couldn't figure out why your baby was more important than, like, somebody else's kids. It's like, what's wrong with you? Okay. But back then, dad and mom were the judge, jury, and many times the executioner.
Yeah.
And actually, every time. And if dad was involved, you really screwed up
Yeah.
because you heard those words out of your mother's mouth and that everybody would get cold blood over and say, "Wait till your father gets
Wait
home."
till your father comes home.
I was whacked in school for stuff. I was, all this because you had a choice. Either we call your parents or I whack you. I took the whacks every time because I was more afraid of them than I was of the dean. He had to stop. My dad could have went on for 10 minutes. It would have been fine with him. Okay. And he wasn't violent. My dad was one of the nice guys you ever meet. My mom was nuts, but my dad wasn't. Okay. But the thing is, the discipline left. The 70s, the 80s, the 60s, that's where, like, the last decades of where harsh punishment ended. Okay. Where, I don't know, Dave, like, it wasn't fun at the time. We look back on it now and laugh. But then it made us so much more physically strong and also mentally strong that there was never a question of whether I was straight or gay or a guy or a girl. I'm a guy and I'm straight. Period. That's it. I don't. I'm a white guy. I don't think about none of this crap because it just is. Okay. I knew the difference between the bad guys and the good guys. I used to think like the cops were the good guys and the robbers were the bad guys, and robbers still are the bad guys, but there's a whole lot more cops on that side too now,
Yeah.
and it's sad. Yeah. I don't know, Dave. You grew up right around the time I did. I mean, you a couple years. I think you're what? What are you? 61. So you're 1 year older than
61.
me.
Yeah.
So it was about the same everywhere you went.
Mhm.
You didn't play with your parents.
No.
But I got to tell you, on Christmas Day, the pile of presents was taller than I was.
Mhm.
As a little kid. That kind of thing. Because they went out, and my dad would go to school, would go to work with holes in his shoes in the wintertime in the snow with, like, cardboard or newspaper in them. And I looked down, and my shoes are brand spanking new, and my pants were new, and my shirt was new. Okay. And we always had food on the table.
Yeah.
And used to have a famous saying, "I will steal food before you guys go hungry." And he meant it. We don't have fathers in the house anymore, and I don't think it's just a black race. I hear that all the time. I think it's all races. We don't have enough fathers in the world in the house with the kids. It's a bad thing. Family. Somebody said family unit. I think it was Melina. Is falling apart.
It
Everything is
is.
permissive. Everything is okay now. They're just kids. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. And kids do
They're just
stupid shit all the time. I can't imagine running around a restaurant screaming at the top of my lungs, knocking other people's food over when I was a kid. I would not have survived that day. I guarantee you I'd be
we
in a grave.
we were just kids, and maybe we did play dress up, and maybe we did grab stuff in our mom's closet
Yeah.
and play
I
that
was a little kid, but I did.
and play that way. But the outcome wasn't. We weren't telling our parents that we were girls.
Yeah.
We were just acting like mom
Exactly.
and laughing and joking and having a good
Yeah.
time about it.
I don't remember ever doing that, Dave, but I mean, who remembers when they were like 2 or 3
I had
years
three.
old?
I had three sisters.
You know, well, they probably reminded you every day, but I don't remember doing that, but it wouldn't have surprised me to find out I did because he's
Yeah,
right. A lot of boys did that. Just like girls would wear their dad's work boots or
yeah.
shoes or whatever. I mean, it's not different. There's no difference. And I don't know, like,
You know?
all I know is this. When I left home at 18 years old, I knew right from wrong. From
Mhm.
that point on, I have a lot of excuses. I did things usually wrong, and I knew they were wrong, but I did them anyway. And that's on me. That's not on the system. It's not on my parents. It's not on anybody else but me. So,
I grew up thinking though that if I ever had kids, it was going to be a little bit different. My father was raised in a house that I didn't know my grandfather drank and was. I knew he could be verbally abusive, but I never knew that there wasn't any physical abuse. But and our house was loud growing up, and I can't. My parents didn't smack us, didn't beat us, didn't give us a whipping every now and then. My mother used to run around the house with one of my father's the thinnest dress belt that he had, and
Bill,
snap it every
yeah,
once in a while, and go,
well,
you know, go,
you're very
I'm
lucky, Dave.
gonna beat you with the strap. And then I think the last time she did it, I can't remember how old my brother was, but he for growing up, my brother was never over 4'5", 4'6". He's now towers over her, but I forget how old he was. In his late teens, I think. One time my mother was chasing him around the house, snapping like she was going to give him a beating over something. I remember she ran up to him in the kitchen. He picked her up under her arms, put her on the countertop, and then patted her on the head. Calm down, Mom. You're going to have a heart attack. And that was it. That was the end of it. I don't think any of the 5 Glovin kids ever saw a belt. After that, we just died. We just died laughing about it.
I've seen the belt. I still remember the sound it makes coming out of my father's pants. I
Yeah.
can still hear it in my head. But my mom used Hot Wheel tracks. I knew a lot of kids.
Oh
I had
God.
Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
I never got a Hot Wheel track used on me, but I
I
can
can.
imagine that was painful and
Well, if
left
you
them
spin one
marks
of
like
those
because
hard,
you
yeah,
know.
you spin one of those hard enough, you'll hear the swoosh in the wind as you're swinging.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and
yeah. We had. Yeah, I remember. God, I never got hit with a Hot Wheel track. The belt was bad enough. I
my
wasn't good with the belt, but I was good nothing else with the belt. The only other thing I got hit with was at school with a paddle.
yeah,
And when they came out with the paddle with the holes in it where they could get it up under you and actually lift you off your feet when you're like 13 or 14, that hurt. but there was only 3.
Yeah.
3 whacks, and that was the most you could get because that was the law. And you literally felt it the rest of the day, and you had hole marks on your butt. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, but your parents were not called, which was the main thing. That you took the pain because if they called your parents to either come get you, and your dad had to take off of work to do it, or they called them, you had to go home at some point because you was gonna get hungry.
Yeah.
And then the fun would begin at home, which is never that great. So, and it's not like my house. I wasn't terrified of my father. I was always, when I got older, I got pissed at my mother. She went too far. But my father, I was never terrified of him. When he got mad, which was not often. My dad was a pretty easygoing guy. But when he got mad, his whole face changed and the tone of his voice changed, and everything was yes, sir, no, sir. And I was not made to call him that. I was made, Dad. Yeah. That's what I call him. And once he got into that, you stopped talking immediately, and you knew to stop talking. You didn't have to like it, but you did have to stop talking. And whatever it was you were doing, you better stop because he wasn't playing. And you learn that. And you know what else? When your boss comes up to you and says, stop doing that, you're doing it wrong or something like that, you don't argue with your boss. And why? Because you didn't argue with your father too much. He let me when I was 16, 17, he would let me get away with a certain amount because, it's how 16, 17-year-old, they know everything and they know nothing, mostly nothing. He would let me get away with that to a certain point, but that was a very short trip to one point to another. And when it was time to stop, you stopped.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if he started to get up, it was over. That was too late then. So, I appreciate it. I appreciate what he taught me. I do.
Yeah, my dad, we weren't spanked. We weren't beaten. We weren't, we really weren't. He yelled, and he yelled loud. And if you sat there and you listened to it, it was just more of him saying, I know you can do better. Or, I know that you really didn't, you didn't think maybe at the time what you did, maybe you thought it was the right thing to do, but it really wasn't. And I expect more than you. And, you'd go sit in your room. We got grounded a lot. And, there was always something. I mean, there were 5 kids. There was always something we wanted to be going and doing. And, if you got grounded, then you weren't going to be with your sisters and your brother when they were going off to do something fun because you screwed up. Yep. Or whatever. It's like me. I never did homework in high school. So when my parents got contacted, it was like my dad was like, go up into your room, and you're not leaving your room until you finish your homework. Period. And when you come home the next day, you're not leaving your work. You're staying in your room even if you finish your homework because you got to learn. You got to do it. You can't just keep putting it off. Well, and it wasn't like, it wasn't like you're not stupid or you need help or something. It was just not doing it.
Lazy.
Screw procrastinating.
Yeah. No, I know.
I was a
when I was married the first time, there were 3 kids, and they had the same rule I had. You don't go outside and play after school until your homework's done. Yeah. Now, what I did different was on Friday, they kept bringing home freaking homework on Friday. I never had that in school. And it's not really homework, it's schoolwork, as we all know. It's just they force it on us, the parents. So that's fine. But it's part of the growing up, so you got to do homework. But on Fridays, they didn't have to do it. They had to do it Saturday morning. But Fridays, they just, go outside, play, run your ass off, do whatever, whatever. I don't care. Okay, go ride your bikes, go have fun. All right, because I believe kids, first of all, when they're young, are supposed to have fun playing not only by themselves, but also with other children, and that's how they learn to be social. And they learn, who's the leader, because the one who punches you in the face the most is usually the leader. Yeah, that kind of thing. And but it teaches them things that they don't even know they're being taught. They're just having a good time, and I believe in that a lot. Because I think sticking. I don't know much about girls, other than they mature sooner. It's obvious. But with boys, sticking a little boy into a classroom and making him sit there through the most boring crap on the planet is not necessarily the best way to teach.
Yep.
It's not. Um, and I learned a lot with these three kids and the way the schools were. They're not allowed to sit with other classes. They can't sit wherever they want in the lunchroom. They got to sit together. They can't really talk. They can't talk to other classes at all. They get in trouble. Um, all kinds of weird, crazy crap. And it's almost like that meme you see on Facebook and stuff, where they have the picture of the prison cafeteria and in the school cafeteria, and they look
They look
horrifyingly
identical.
alike.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now, that's not to say kids shouldn't go in and learn some discipline and all that. I'm not saying that. And learning some actual math, not the racist kind, but the kind where 2 + 2 = 4, and that's it. Okay. And science, and what else, English, even whatever. And the 4 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Or
Arithmetic.
3 R's, sorry. Yeah. That especially. But then they took all the like art
Yeah.
and shop class of whatever kind. They took all that out of the schools.
Away. It's like I said
Yep.
last week. I said
Yeah.
one night, I think I addressed the comment to Stephen Tolliver, but I remember growing up as a kid in high school and even after high school, where cities that I lived in had the regular reading, writing, arithmetic high school, and they had vocational high schools. And
Yep. I went to one.
for
It's kind of how I know about cars a little bit. That's how I know a little bit about cars. I went to, it's called Sheridan Votech for auto mechanics. You're right. And we took a bus there and a bus back to our high school to go home. Yeah.
I mean, you still had to learn
4 hours.
You still had to learn the reading, writing, arithmetic to graduate.
Yes.
But you learned auto mechanics. You could learn welding. You could learn whatever. Because I mean,
electrical. We had electrical. We had auto body at the school. We had electrician's class and auto body at the school.
Auto body.
And then if you wanted, you could go to the Sheridan vocational school, and then they had like auto mechanics, I think air conditioning, because I live in Florida, and air conditioning has always been part of most curriculums if you're in a tech school, and that kind of thing. And back then they were starting with everybody's house that was being built had central air instead of window units and all that kind of crap. When I was young, and he's right. You didn't learn how to be the greatest mechanic in the world, but you did learn the basics.
Right.
Okay.
And then you could take
my favorite words when I worked on my car was screaming dad, because if I screwed something up, he would come out and fix it. Because the cars he owned, I owned a 68 Camaro. So basically the cars he owned was the same type of setup. Okay. And he bought, like, he'd tell us he would go buy a $25 junk, get it running. And when it stopped running, he'd go buy another one.
Yeah.
Okay. $25 was a lot of money when he was 16, 17 years. That was a shitload of money.
Yeah.
But he worked his ass off for it. So he did that, and he would show me, plus the school, and we learned stuff in school too, like about life.
Yeah.
Just in general. We had a class on how not to get ripped off in public. We actually had a class I can't remember the damn name of the class, but that's what it was.
Yep.
Um, and they don't have that anymore. None of that. It's
Yeah.
all about taking the FCAT test and threatening 8-year-olds with you're not going to go to ninth, I don't know what, fifth grade or sixth, whatever it is.
You're
If you
not going to
fail this
graduate,
test, you're
but
not
she
coming home
will.
crying. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Threatening. Yeah.
teachers teaching kids about the gay agenda and talking about I don't know, the trans agenda, how America is racist. We used to say this Pledge of Allegiance all through high school, from day one in whatever, I guess it was elementary school till I got out of high school. They said the Pledge of Allegiance every day.
Yep.
They also had a moment of silence
Yep.
for, and it was for people who wanted to pray.
Enough.
Okay, those, and we never thought, no, we shouldn't have to do this. We need to fight the system. No, it's just say you want to pray, pray. I don't care. Who cares? Do what you
Right.
want.
It was your moment. Do whatever you want to do for that minute.
Exactly.
And that's why I get ticked off only when I hear prayer in school, because there's more than one religion in the school classroom these days. And you can't say to a Jewish kid that I have to do the Hail Mary, Mother of Jesus,
Lord's
Savior of the
Prayer,
World prayer every morning,
Yeah.
because it doesn't mean anything to me. And most of the prayers.
That's why the moment of silence is the best way to do it. Either you do nothing and you're thinking about how to get out of this class, or you say you're, I don't know much about. I know I listen to my wife say the Jewish prayers in Hebrew, and I don't understand a word of it, but whatever that is, okay. Or you do,
I learned
I'm
a lot
Catholic,
of
although
Hebrew, and I don't know the words either.
I'm not a. Yeah, I don't understand none of it. It sounds actually comical to me because she sings it. She I guess like a rabbi, he sings it kind of deal.
Yeah,
and that's what she does on holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Cantor.
A
Right.
cantor sings.
And or you say the Lord's Prayer, or you say whatever. I don't know if
too.
you're Protestant. But that's an interesting point you brought up also, Dave. They used to have schools where it was a neighborhood school. Okay, so if you lived in a neighborhood, chances are you lived in a neighborhood, if you're a Catholic or you were Jewish, you lived amongst those people.
Yeah.
And whatever. And then they started the busing crap where, all of a sudden you're mixing in the white people with the black people, which did not work really well back then. They didn't want us, and we didn't want to be there. And they would gang up on us, and not me. I was lucky, and I wasn't like I am now where I'm big, but I was just lucky. And I knew a lot of black people in high school, and there were bad ones, no doubt. There were bad white kids, and I stayed away from all that because I didn't want to be around that. And the black guys I knew, I remember coming home one day and telling my dad, they're the funniest freaking people I ever met in my life. I mean, you just constantly laughing. They're always like pretty happy, and ain't none of them stupid. But I'm going to be truthful, and people may not like it. I learned I didn't have a racist bone in my body when I went to this high school. Not one. I was brought up that way, big time. And we were reminded of it almost every day, because I grew up in the 60s too, where that was a big thing. And when I went to the all black high school, because they bused us there, I learned it from black people because they hated us, many of them. The principal of the school could not stand us being there. And he did not make any bones about it either. And this is just what happened. You can believe it or not believe it. I don't really care. But that's what happened. And 10 or 15 years later, I'm wondering why I'm not liking people because of the color of their skin. And it just seems stupid to me.
Yeah.
And I met so many people in that time that were black, that were just decent people who, like, if they were fishing, you could walk up to them and have a 2-hour conversation. Everybody's laughing and joking, and you probably
Yeah.
learned something because I was like 16, 17, 18 when I first started. And then, into my 20s, obviously almost 30. And I'm like, why? It comes to you that there's good and bad in every race. And, to this day, I live in a small town, and that girl I was talking about at the beginning her attitude is a minority in this town. You hold the door for a black guy or black, well, whatever, 99 times out of 10, gonna thank you. How you doing? I don't know any of them. I don't know anybody in town, white or black. Frankly, I know of people, but that's it. And I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
you treat me good or decent or even civil, I'm going to do the same for you because it takes too much out of people for hate, man. There's just too much hate in this world. I'm sorry. I'm not religious at all. I'm not, I'm an agnostic, but I got to tell you, I don't see nothing wrong with being decent. And there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that's just a good damn way to live.
Yep.
All right. Especially the 10 Commandments. And why should I do you wrong just because of the color of your skin? That's freaking stupid.
Oh.
Martin Luther King said it's content of character, and you know what? He was freaking right.
Yep.
Because I've met a lot of black people who had a lot more contact or whatever of character than I've met some white people that literally had nothing but bad character.
Yeah.
Nothing but.
But you
Okay.
met a lot of white people, I'm sure, that had a lot of that were the same way. Some that were
Of
great
course.
people and some that
Of
were
course.
terrible people.
Every race.
Right.
I don't like illegal aliens because they lie about everything. All right. But I've met a lot of legal citizens in this country that bust their ass and have raised their family up in
Yep.
not so much society, but from where they came from, as we all probably have, and I respect that quite a bit. Probably.
I've said. Oh, go ahead. You froze for
Oh,
a second. Okay. I apologize for
and
our
I
broadcast.
don't like the only one.
Jerry freezes a few
That's all
times.
right. It's my
He's
fault.
frozen a few times, but the internet
It's my
signal
fault.
that he has sending us is not the best, but we make it work as best as we can. You froze for a second there. Also, we both went into a major buffer for about 2 minutes back near the beginning of the broadcast, but so I apologize on that, but we do make it work. But you're right. People are people, and I think I really have to know a person before I decide that they're a bad person. I can't just look at someone and go, "No, you're a bad person." But by the same token,
I can. I've developed that over the years. I can. And it has to do with in the eyes. They say the eyes are the mirror to the soul. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's an old wore out cliche, but it is actually true.
Yeah.
And, listen to what they say and, then watch how they actually act also is a part of it. Body language is a part of it.
Body language is
There's a lot of
right.
yeah. And I can tell within 5 minutes if I'm going to like this person or not. But all it really takes for me is, if I'm in the way, just like excuse me or whatever, and because I'm not paying attention, and I'm going to apologize and be decent to you. That's all. If I hear get the fuck out of my way, I'm going to turn around and look at what I got to deal with here. It's just that simple. I treat people the way they treat me, and I think most do. I believe, at least from what I can see. I see Dave. He has everybody on his show at one time. Do they always get along? No. But then on my show, people don't always get along either. But we try, and we don't
Jerry on
call
my
each
show,
other
and I don't
names.
get along with Jerry on his show. I think I hold
That's
the record for the most number of getting yelled at by Jerry on a broadcast, but I probably don't. There were probably others that were long before I ever went on to
Oh,
the
Dave,
American
see, I
Rebellion.
like you. I do. I do like you a lot.
Sorry.
You're a good guy. That's why you got a good heart and you try real hard, and that's all. I respect that kind of shit. And that's why you've never been thrown off. I have thrown people off our show who just cannot seem to get along with anybody.
Yeah.
And it's been mutual on a couple of them. All the commenters, all the co-hosts, everybody wanted them gone, and we all know about that. But
Well, after 10 years of doing it, you must be doing something right.
I don't know. Dave,
Unfortunately, he's not doing it on Facebook anymore, but we'll remind you, there it is.
I keep going
American
back
Rebellion.
to, I've been doing it 10 years since Obama's second term, somewhere in that second term.
Yeah.
And it's just gotten worse. It's not gotten better. Nothing has gotten better. It just gets worse.
No.
And that is a downer, man. It is. It's a downer. And look, how long you been doing? 4, 5, 6 years, something like that? I mean,
4 years of doing this, and then way back in another life,
right.
I did 6 years of radio way back in another life, and
right.
I've been doing this for 4 years. Yeah, and it's like you said. I don't want people to think, because it's not true, that I bring somebody onto a broadcast to yell at them. Honestly, I really don't. I'm a quick trigger. I can lose my temper. I can start yelling at people if I think I have a reason to. But you know what? No. I created this thing we do, Boogie with the Bull, to bring everybody to come and talk. That's it.
Hey, Mrs. Dave, how you doing?
Hi.
No, I don't know. That's why I started.
I don't know how much he is going to be, but I'll get your price.
I don't know. I started American Rebellion because I remember I did one video in the beginning, and it went viral. It's the only one I've ever had, and but I was so pissed off about the Muslim situation, Obama, blah 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 blah. Okay.
Yeah.
And it felt like, when you're just like by yourself and it feels like you're the only one. And I was like, there's got to be other people. Because after I saw the comments of either the squiggly line people wanted to kill me or regular Americans who were actually feeling the same way, I realized that I'm not. And there should be some place that people can go where not only the people on screen matter, but the people in the comments are equally important. And I have been doing it since, and I've had a lot of co-hosts. The ones we have now, we got a pretty good bunch now.
Yeah.
Dave comes on as a guest all the time when he can. Jen comes on probably 3-4 nights a week. We do it 4 nights a week, but she's probably on at least 3 of them. Sometimes
you got to hope that Jen Woodruff never starts her own show, because if she does, you won't be able to do yours anymore because you'll be on hers every night.
Well, either that or she'll just Jen would be great. I keep telling her that. Great. She don't listen. She'd be great.
Jen would be great.
I always like the female perspective on our show because you look at this so-called movement, everybody calls it. Many of the voices who make the most sense are women.
Yep.
Because lack of knowing the exact numbers, they're half the population. And we've had 3 or 4 on that have not worked out. And Jen, on our show, I work very hard not to say the F word, and it don't work out all the time. But Jen has a completely different style than anybody else on the screen.
Yep.
And everybody, she's like our little sister now. You're not going to mess with Jen, number one, and nobody does. But
mess with Jen.
Just saying.
Don't mess with
Jen. when she speaks, everybody listens to her, and I love that
Yep.
because that's hopefully, I don't know. And the people in the comments,
Yep.
if it wasn't for them, there would be no point of being on the screen.
Yeah. My first
It's that,
year was just me on a camera rambling. Very rarely got a comment. Very rarely got a comment.
Yeah.
And but that's I mean, and then there were plenty of broadcasts where it was just me and people in the live chat. Those are good too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, when live video first came out, I would do live videos all the time by myself.
Yeah.
And there'd be 6 or 8 or 900 comments, and I'd read not all of them, but I'd read 80% of them. And whatever, I'd say something, or I'd whatever. I mean, I didn't read the one saying hello. I would just say hello back. That's it. But,
I used to do those on purpose.
It annoys me, Dave, to watch these people on screen, okay, with an actual live show like we have here, okay,
Yep.
and here with StreamYard, we're able to put the comments up, which is great. Also see the comments coming down the screen over on the right over here, but they don't ever acknowledge anyone in the comments. That drives me nuts. I hate that.
Well, I made it a point because I figured if they were giving up their time over anything they could be doing in their life, including watching me just because they like watching me, they're watching me because they like me. Or they're watching me and they've got something to say. And that was, to me, that was part of the original thing. It was a conversation between me and them because I never knew anybody that would come on.
Yeah.
Michael Anthony and I started doing them together after I was watching him for years. And then Randy Rhodes came in, and it was Michael, Randy, and I, and then Jen came in, and it was great. It was really great.
I like Michael Anthony. He has many diverse interests.
Yes,
I've never seen a guy that into so many different things.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And he puts a lot of work in, and plus he's a hardworking guy anyway. So
he is.
He was on last night,
I watched.
and he's exceedingly polite. He's very polite.
Yep.
And he's just a guy, when he talks, you listen to him. And I find that is good for everybody. People know me as the guy that's got a short temper, and I yell sometimes. I don't, I used to yell on purpose just to get views, and that pissed me off. I was doing that.
Yeah.
And I stopped. But every now and again, there's, we all have it. We're sitting there looking at the TV and some new stupid pops up, and you're just like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that I kind of like that. Then I got Nick. I've never actually seen him yell or get super mad about anything. He always sounds kind of like he's annoyed.
Yeah.
Okay, but I've never seen him go off like I do. As a matter of fact, nobody on the show goes off like I do.
No one.
Same thing with Errol. No, and it's like it's a good mix of attitudes. And I'm gonna tell you something on our show.
I've
much
never
like
seen Daryl get
Dave,
mad.
People.
Has Daryl ever actually got
not
mad
one
on a broadcast?
No, and I don't look forward to it because Daryl. Yeah, I don't look forward to that. He may yell at me. I don't know. But
I want to watch. I want to watch the broadcast when Jen Woodruff finally breaks down and yells at someone.
Yeah,
because
she said hello instead of hell the other night. I was like, my eyes popped open. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah,
she's this close. But we make fun of her about that.
Because she's not with us tonight because it is her son's birthday. Timothy, I believe.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Timothy Woodruff. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure if he's the one who's trying to build the world's first 4-speed Crown Vic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Manual transmission Crown Vic.
She's got a nice family.
She does.
She's got a nice family. And she said, you know, everybody that on our show and Dave, we're all able to take a joke and then, you know, slap it back at somebody else. Like Alan
Yep.
McMillan here, at least 4 times a show, he's got me cracking up. And it's usually something about me because you know what they say about comedy, there's a certain amount of truth. And, you
Yeah.
know, I am a firm believer that if you cannot laugh at yourself, you have no business laughing at anybody else ever. Okay. And you know, I learned a long time ago, I'm very self-deprecating many times because I know I'm screwed up. I get it. All right. There's no way around that. And if somebody makes fun of me, I know that, like Alan, don't as I hope doesn't have malice in his heart when he does it. He just does it because he's a funny guy. Same
Yeah.
thing with Nick. Same thing with like we got Jimmy Collins, Larry Burns from Canada.
Yeah.
You know that, and if you make fun of me, I'm good with it. As a matter of fact, if I'm the straight man and people are laughing, because we don't have enough laughing anymore, man. We don't have enough people having a good time. And if I can be the straight man, and I've been this way for years, and people are laughing, even if it's at me, I'm actually good
Yeah.
because we don't have enough of it anymore. Everything is so damn serious
Yeah.
and it's so ridiculous. How can we not laugh at it at some point? If it wasn't so dangerous, it'd be funny all the time.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I'm
So
sure
I
one
don't know.
day they will ban. I'm sure one day they will ban laughing on the internet if they have a chance. You know,
Yeah, probably.
it's like
Yeah.
you know. I wonder if I should, when I first log on to Facebook each day, read the community standards to see what I'm not allowed to do now. You know,
Well, they change, it seems, every day. So I don't know how much time you got in a day, but I don't have that kind of time, nor do I care. So it's just, you know, you know, it was Daryl's idea to go over to Rumble, and we've had this idea 4 or 5 times. Daryl has had this idea 3 or 4 times. Okay, and he just hit me on the right night because it's like, you know what? Why don't we just try something else? I don't care. Let's just do it. And we do it. You know, Larry says laughter is the best medicine. It is because sometimes members of our show, and when I say members, I mean everybody, commenters, everything, they have a bad day or there's something bad going through. And some, you know, the best compliment I can get is you probably not a huge part, but had some part in, you know, getting you through something or something like that.
yeah,
To me, that's the biggest compliment you can get because a lot of these guys aren't doing this for that. They're doing it for the money. You know, if I can make money at it, don't get me wrong, I'd be thrilled. I think we've made 50 cents so far or something, 52 cents. Actually, I hate to shortchange myself, but, you know, we're not getting rich for sure. But I think that we should. Larry's our show historian. He knows everything. It's
yeah,
scary, actually. He's from Canada. He's like, we've made an honorary American because it's like he's Larry Burns from Canada. That's what I call him. And
yeah,
Larry's been around almost as long on anything I've done as I have. It's got to be at least 9 years, if not 9.5 or 9 3/4 or something. So he's been around a long time. Alan's been around a long time. You know, yeah, we don't have to be politically correct over
no,
there.
and
We weren't
you can,
politically correct on Facebook there. Tonight, me and Dave had a discussion, a real one on race and things
right,
about this, that, and the other. Okay, a real one. We're
right,
both, everybody said what they said. Okay, and nobody names, nobody called
right,
me a racist, nobody called me this, nobody called me that. That's the kind of conversations we have on the
right.
American Rebellion.
That's what we
And
need to
you
have.
know, if somebody we try most of the time, especially if it's a regular, to find out why, and then we, you know, act accordingly or whatever. You know,
Right.
listen, I have friends on here that I've never met in my life other than on the internet, and I trust them.
Yeah.
It's that damn simple. I, you know, yeah, Larry's right. Plus the comments, like Dave was commenting, I think a couple of shows ago about comments getting taken down the minute that you put them up. because it has a certain word or something in it that
Oh, no.
Facebook or somebody.
I can say it because I can say it on a Facebook broadcast. I've called Rashida Tlaib Rashida Towelhead for as long as she has been in the House of Representatives. I can say it on a broadcast on Facebook, but if I type it into the comments, I get asked, do you really want a hate speech violation, or do you want to just change your mind and delete the comment?
Yeah. I've had that. The last show I think we did on Facebook, I had one taken down, and that thing, the thing pops up and all that. I had the same thing happen. And I know that Alan has, I know Larry has, and there's been a few more on our show. The same exact thing happened on a relatively regular basis. It's never happened once on Rumble that I know about. I don't think. There may have been one time. And I don't think it was that bad a comment, frankly. I don't think anything that's been taken down by Facebook in our comments has been that bad a comment. As a matter of fact, there is one guy who used the N-word in a comment, and Facebook didn't do a damn thing. I got pissed at him. Okay? Because that ain't what I'm trying to do here. We ain't got time for that crap anymore. We don't. Okay, and if you're stuck in the 1800s, well, you're a product of your time. I get it, but we're not in the 1800s, all right. And frankly, that word, it pisses me off, but we can't say it because I'm a free speech absolutist. But you got to live in the real world, all right, and that's not something I'm looking. I believe Dave is the exact same way. So.
Yeah. Well, at least when they sat us down in college radio, they taught us 7 words you can't say on radio. Unfortunately, is one of them. My hand goes up in class, and Doc Pilzel, the instructor, calls on me and he says, "Do you have a problem with those 7 words?" I said, "Well, let me equate it to I'm Jewish, and if you say shalom when you say shalom, which is hello in Hebrew, it means whatever you want it to mean, whatever you say it." Then I said, so he said, "Your point?" I said, "I grew up in California. When someone says it means whatever you it's relative to whatever you say it."
Exactly. Yeah. But the problem is when a computer is doing this, taking down comments, they don't know the context at all. And even if it's a human being, if they're like working for Facebook, there's a decent chance they are a leftist. So it don't matter what you say, they're going to take it down, and it's wrong. It is wrong. I believe we should be able to say any damn thing we want and let the rest of the public deal with you. Okay, you have to have, when you're doing this, a thick skin, because there are going to be people that attack you. And me, you can't cancel me, and you can attack me, but I'm not going to care. All right, that's it. Because I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but some things, even I know, is probably a bad damned idea. And I don't particularly like that word. Haven't in years and years and years. And our show has very few rules, and that is one of them. No overtly racist crap, because it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't do anything good. And all you're going to do is get me kicked off or something. And I got to pay the price because you're a moron. Right. So, there you go. I don't know.
And I didn't do this. Whatever. I didn't put this together and start doing this so that somebody could get me kicked off. I did put it on hoping that someday some big network would say, you're 25% as good as Dan Bongino is, so we'll run your broadcast before him or after him.
Yeah.
But
we're right behind Dan Bongino. We got 40 followers and 52 cents. So Dan better watch yourself. You better watch yourself. But Yeah, I don't. We'd like to be able to make money at it because I've been doing
No,
it so long. I'd rather I wouldn't mind it. I really wouldn't. But
I
if that never happens, then you know I still have good people to talk to and people to learn from, and I think we could all learn something from each other a whole lot more. Maybe some compassion, maybe some, just understanding somebody else. Because we could all use to learn that every day because we forget it. And we're human beings; we all forget it, and to be reminded of it is a great thing. So, well, Melinda, I'm sure Dave appreciates it.
do.
It's very hard as a conservative. If we were liberals screaming about USA bad and terrorists good, I doubt seriously if we would have a hard time getting built up because that stuff
Well,
seems to be okay. I don't know. Me, I ain't
Melinda
that guy.
scared
So
me. Melinda scared me earlier in a group chat that we're in. I thought she was going to go watch the broadcast on YouTube because I tell people the only reason I have YouTube is so I can share a broadcast that without having to share it from Facebook because I hate sharing
right.
Facebook off of Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
I'm
then
connected
there was a week
on
there
my
was a week
screen.
where we were only on there was a week we were only on YouTube. I forget what the problem was. Actually, I think I was suspended from Facebook for a week, so
You
we were
were.
on.
I remember that. You were.
We
Yeah,
were actually
you
on
were.
YouTube for that week,
Nice job, Dave.
trash talking Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Well,
must be doing something right because for 4 years we come on. Well, it was 3 nights a week. It was 3 days a week. Now we come on 2 nights a week, and all we do is trash Facebook. And I'm on Facebook trashing
yeah,
Facebook, and they don't pay me. The
I don't
only
know.
thing that would be better would be if they paid me.
Back when they started shadow banning, I was getting kicked off every other month and
Yep.
sometimes for 2 months in a row. That's why I got 3 accounts. Right now on my screen, which is the guest screen on StreamYard, I'm hooked up to YouTube and I can't figure out how to get hooked up to Facebook because all these people are on Facebook and like if I want to say hello to somebody, I can post it, but it's going to YouTube and nobody is going to answer me there because I'm not talking to them,
Well,
and I don't
I'm
know
linked.
why this is.
Okay, I'm linked to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and live chat
Maybe that's
is active. So if someone's watching it on YouTube, they will come up on my screen in the live chat from YouTube. I've had that happen before. Right now,
well, no, it'll
everybody's
happen here too.
yeah. Right
Everybody's
now,
on
everybody's
Facebook
watching
now.
on Facebook.
But if I
Or
post a comment, it's going to YouTube because I don't know if you can, well,
yeah,
you would see it if I post something, but my picture here is basically my pic, what you see on the screen. It's the
yeah.
flags with me. I got a baseball hat on. That's my YouTube picture.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know how to do it, and there doesn't seem to be any way for me to do it, but it is what it is.
I just did it
That's
because
why I try to.
I figured we'd get the
It,
1,000
it, um,
subscribers. We'd get the 4,000 hours watched, and we get a few pennies from YouTube every month, which never happened. But so I don't really care.
I was on YouTube for years, posting videos. I made $20 in
Yeah,
5 years. They don't give you the money till you hit 100. They took down um, three channels of mine because um, they didn't like my videos, and they were all videos either of the show or just me,
yeah,
being conservative, basically, and giving my opinion, no bones about it. And somebody always turned it in, and then
yeah,
then they just went and and there was thousands of videos on these channels between the three of them. Okay, there was thousands of channels. Now the channel I have over there, I just watch YouTube videos on. They go through.
yeah.
That's it. I don't put really anything over there. So they're
I
all
just
the
wanted,
same.
I just wanted to
Rumble
be able
will
to
could
share off of Facebook at the time. So that
if
was
they ever if they sell Rumble to somebody, I guarantee it'll change. Guarantee it'll
yeah.
change. and Rumble will go to being what the rest of social media is, which is a quagmire of garbage.
Well,
Um,
Elon
you know,
Musk. Elon Musk spoke to somebody at Google one day because I guess there's a project that one of his companies, SpaceX and Google, are on a project together, and he told them a ridiculous amount of money, which I guess was not disclosed, that if they ever wanted to sell YouTube, he would very much like to buy it. I hope it doesn't happen because you know,
you don't want
Twitter's
what.
not really any different than since he bought them than they were before, really. To be
No, he's
honest.
not everybody's hero, and you don't want one guy owning all of them. Just like you don't want, like, what is it? 3 corporations own all the newspaper, TV
Right,
stations, and
right.
whatever in the country. You don't want that.
No,
And I never thought Elon Musk was going to be our savior. He's got a lot of problems right now for liking terrorist posts or something. I don't know.
yeah,
All his advertisers are
right.
leaving. If it's that, I'm reading this in the mainstream media, so take it with a grain of salt because he didn't get to be a billionaire by being stupid.
No,
So they're all saying on the verge of leaving. Thousands are leaving Twitter, and then blah 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 blah, just like they do with Trump. So it's hard to. Rumble will never sell, in my opinion. They will eventually surpass ScrewTube, free speech platform. Yeah, well, you want to see conservative shows? I mean, real ones with like good graphics and people not blipping out all the time like I do. It's a good place to go because they're all over there.
I
You know.
believe eventually what will happen is that Trump Media Technology Group, which is the owners of Truth Social and Rumble, have some kind of
Coming
a
together.
merger that seems to get reported on again, off again. I'm not really sure, but it will go through because Rumble is actually the web host and servers for Truth Social, and Trump wanted that rather than having to have the cost of live stream servers are like $250.
They're very expensive.
It's like $250 million to properly set up your network to be able to do live streaming.
And it's probably more on YouTube because that's what they do. But I'm going to tell you something. YouTube brings in suitcases full of money every 10 seconds.
Sure right.
So they can afford it. True Social ain't there yet.
No.
Rumble apparently had good backing, obviously, because they do it, but they go through a streaming service just like we're doing here for Facebook and YouTube. So, and we pay for this. We paid $25 a month. You can get better ones, but they don't really. For us, this is fine. Yeah. And then you pay to be on Rumble also, which is another $10 a month, so $35 a month. I think it's worth the experience to do it. I think it's worth being able to say more. All that, but I'm not aware. I am not known as being rich at all, and sometimes it is somewhat difficult. It is, but
my goal was to not be able to ever pay myself to do what I do. It was hopefully it would generate enough to cover the cost of technology, because until I learned that you can't smash with a fist the right side of your Chromebook keyboard whenever you get mad, or else the right side of your keyboard stops working. And
it's a thing. It is. Yeah. That sucks. No, I'd be happy with the same thing. If I could make like $100 a month, I could upgrade a lot of stuff. My computer, for one thing, which is, I believe, 117 years old. It was old when I got it, and also pay for, whatever you got to pay for. I'd be okay with that, but it would be also great, after all these years and I'm not looking to make millions. Some of these
No.
people, they have had, see, like you look at some of these guys, they have had millions of dollars invested
Yeah.
into a company that they own to do this. I mean, these slick guys up top, and we don't. You know, I don't know anybody's going to do that for me. So, well, it just is what it is.
The biggest problem I have is when someone comes out of the woodwork and says, you know, we could help you. You know,
Yeah,
we could help you. You know, we can build you a
I've had
studio.
that.
It always comes down to me saying, well, you know, you've been telling me for a year you're going to build me a studio, and you never do. I got a studio in my bedroom right now. It's keeping my wife awake right now. It's keeping our guest awake right now. So
I'm in the back room studios of Chiefland, Florida, which is the back room of my house, which is full up with a whole bunch of stuff we don't need, but cannot for some reason get rid of. I don't know why.
Okay.
But here we are. So that's it. And you know what? I'm so used to this that it don't bother me at all. So that's just the way it is. Anyway, Dave, I gotta go.
Yeah, you do have to go. It's about that time. Say hi to Michelle. I hope she's feeling better.
I don't know. We'll see.
There will not be a Thursday Boogie with the Bull, and I'm thankful about that because it's Thanksgiving.
Right. No, I understand.
No.
We will be on tomorrow night at 7, night before, where everybody will be at Walmart killing each other for turkey or something.
No, I'll probably be here.
But I appreciate it, Dave. Thank you for letting me on.
It's always a pleasure, Jerry.
Probably tomorrow night we'll see you or something. Take care. I'll send you the link. Same as always.
Send me the link.
All right.
I'll either be in the live chat or I'll be on.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
All right, Jerry.
Great show. Great show,
Thank
Dave.
you.
Thank you.
All
everybody in the comments, have a great night.
All right. Okay. Jerry Michaels from the American Rebellion, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday over on Rumble. If you don't have the link or see the link in any one of our groups, message me and I'll give you the link that will bring you right to the broadcast. You do have to be a member of Rumble if you want to use the live chat while you're watching the American Rebellion on Rumble. If you don't want to be in the live chat, I think you can just take that link and follow it over there. But anyway, I have it. I'll post it tomorrow in all the groups. One last reminder, for Christmas, the Trump 2024 official ornament is available. They are $4 each, $2 for shipping. That's $6 or $10 plus shipping for 3 of them. And Boogie with the Bull Uncensored mugs, $20, includes the shipping. And truly bipartisan mug. Hold it in your left hand, and you can be a leftist socialist wingnut on Facebook and other places. Hold it in your right hand and be a God-fearing conservative patriot like the rest of us. The mug you have to order from Jen Woodruff. She has them on a website that she gets them for. So if you want them, let me know. Thoughts and prayers go to President Jimmy Carter, whose wife Rosalind passed away at 96 years old. A celebration of life started yesterday and goes through Wednesday morning. Her funeral will be in Georgia at 10:55 a.m. on Wednesday. I don't know if you'll be able to watch it on I don't know if it'll be on network TV because she was not a president, so I don't know if they'll give that up. But you may be able to watch it live on Facebook Watch or YouTube or every place that you watch stuff. I want to thank everybody for watching. Melinda Brown 40. You're welcome to come on one night, Melinda, if you want to. And Larry Burns from Canada, Callan McMillan, who watches, and let's roll back. Also, somewhere in the comments, you'll see Danny Campbell said his signature hello. Danny has watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcasts than anybody else in the 4-year history of Boogie with the Bull. On Friday, on the American Rebellion, over on Rumble, Bill Muckler, who wrote the 2 books that we all talk about all the time. I got to read them so I can read them. 2020, A Clear Vision for Our Future, and 2020, A Clear Vision for America. We talk about them. Bill will be on the American Rebellion on Friday, 7 p.m., answering questions from the panel on the American Rebellion and those of you in the live chat that have questions for him. So please watch. A great guy, a retired Marine captain who has an interesting take on things, and jokingly enough, should have run for president, I think, at some point, but I don't think he wanted to do that. But anyway, so again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Carter family, and make sure on Friday, 7 p.m., you're over on the American Rebellion over on Rumble. Watch that. There will not be a Boogie with the Bull Thursday. I'm thankful for that because it's Thanksgiving, and spend the night with family and friends. So I apologize for keeping our daughter-in-law's mother, who is in the room next door, probably still awake or laughing hysterically if she tuned in and watched. But anyway, and it's 9:15, so it's time for us to go to bed. I did catch a weather report that seems to imply that there are major rainstorms hanging over the east and coming down through the east into Florida and swinging out to Texas. I don't know if it's true, but if you're on the roads, be very careful this week. And if you're not, then be safe. And this is the part of the broadcast where I say you've been watching Boogie with the Bull, Tuesday Night Live, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We own everything affiliated with the broadcast. If we screwed up and insulted you in some way, let us know. And you watched us on Facebook on the Dave Golden profile. So if you watch it on Facebook, take it and share it as many places as you can on Facebook, or you can go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and take it and share it to any place off of Facebook. I just don't like sharing it from Facebook because I don't like taking anything from Facebook and putting it someplace else, and Facebook still makes money on it. But anyway, that's all I have to say. So double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is coming to an end. We'll come up and hit this one more time. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast did come to an end.